brochures, I think.
はい、お集まりの皆さんありがとうございます。今からこの DFFT イニシアチブということで、ディスカッションを始めます。これは我々が、データ社会推進協議会と今日 IDSA やドイツエアロスペースや、Dawex、そういう欧州の人たち、それから IEEE の P3800 というグループがありますが、そこを含めてみんなで円卓会議をやった結果として、継続したディスカッションをしています。で今回は DFFT をするためにどうしたらいいんだということで、ディスカッションしたペーパーを出したんですが、それのをもとにちょっと今日ディスカッションしたいと思います。で最初に DSA の会長である奥井の方から一言ご挨拶をさせていただきます。
奥井でございます。これ英語だね、やるなら。
Yes, please.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for joining today from various countries. I'm Noriaki Okui, the president of the DSA, Data Society Alliance. Maybe some of you have my souvenir, which is the Toraya's yokan. The yokan is maybe sweet bean jelly. Toraya is the very traditional sweet maker, established 500 years ago. So when you taste this, you will feel our 5 centuries history. After talking about the history, we are facing the very historical moment by the generative AI. But it is true that there are some or various issues or challenges such as the personal or privacy protection or copyright issues. In this situation, what we should do is to create common framework for the society where the trusted data circulates safely, freely, and maintains the data sovereignty all around the world. In this way, we hope to contribute to the next era. The history is more than past. 間違えました。実はこれチャット GPT で作られた文章でして、History is more than the past left by the past です。Written by chat GPT. Anyway, you know why we are here, and I know that I need to save my time for our discussion. So I just pass the mic to the Mano-san, please.
Thank you, Mr. Okui. And again, let's get started. I would like to call this meeting to order. So this is a DFFT initiative. What is the initiative? Initiative is usually we use to kick off our preparing phase. It's not on the progress, not yet. We just start this discussion. So last February, we have the roundtable meeting in Brussels with European people and I2P and Indian peoples together about data trading or data platform. However, this time, we have the chance to talk with G7 ministry meeting, so therefore we focus on the DFFT. So DFFT is a symbolic term that was provided by former Prime Minister Mr. Abe in World Economic Forum 7 years ago. So, however, who knows about the DFFT? Do you hear the DFFT? The rising hands? Unfortunately, it is not precise more. What means free flow? Free from what? And what is the trust? What kind of the trust is required? So we need precise more about the DFFT. But today I have this paper. It was hands out here. And first, I asked to ChatGPT what G7 countries have to do to realize DFFT. And second question is what we can do, the private sector can do to realize DFFT. And third question is, what is the next plan? So please write down in English with practical terms. Unfortunately, he don't know any practical terms, but the overview is not so far from our idea. So then we start discussion on this document after generated by ChatGPT. We have a couple of the meeting by WebEx, web meeting, last 3 weeks. And so they provide idea and comment for the document. Today, I'd like to describe this one and start one by one. Here is 11 topics. That is a proposal to government. And 4 topics. That is, we have to do from private sectors and future plan. So there, let's start for discussion. And this session will be held in English. So if you need, but if you want to make a question from floor, you can speak in Japanese too. And so we have the floor mic here. If someone who wants to speak, please on the queue on the floor. So let's start. This is the yeah. So this is the overview introduction. So this document was generated by us from Japan and IEEE and Indian people, and also those people from European peoples, from private sectors, and also the research centers. So first of all, before starting, I ask people to speak and introduce yourself from one by one. Your name and affiliation, please.
Hello everyone, I'm Fabrice Tocco. I'm the co-founder and co-CEO of Dawex. Dawex is a tech company that is doing software for data exchange and data sharing. So we are operating in every business sectors. We also have customers here in Japan and partners. I'm very happy to participate to this conference. Thank you very much.
Yeah, my name is Frank Köster from the German Aerospace Center. I'm head of an institute working on AI safety and security. So for us, AI is a core component of future products, and we are taking care of their safe and secure operation. And also connected to this topic, we are working on digital infrastructures, so safe data infrastructures in terms of digital data and service ecosystems we want to provide.
Yeah, my name is Julian Ahlberger. I'm representing the International Data Spaces Association. So this Data Spaces Association is really focused on promoting interoperability, sovereignty, so data sovereignty, secure data sharing, and we are on a way to develop a global standard so that you have certified components, and we consult you in building data spaces, but we also consult you in how to build up a data space with the standards that are on the market and with our standards. That's the main goal and vision of our association.
Hello, my name is Takafumi Ochiai, from Atsumi Sakai. I am working as a lawyer and also working with DSA as an auditor. And I'm involved in Japanese industrial bodies discussions in relation to DSA and as a fintech association or other industries. In addition, so I am committing regulatory reform committees in Cabinet Office and Digital Agency. So I am mainly working for such policy matters and also supporting industrial bodies discussions on user edge of data and making rules on data. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Noboru Koshizuka from University of Tokyo, and I'm working for the DSA, Data Society Alliance. And my main activity is to establish the Data-EX. It's the infrastructure of data exchange or data circulation in Japan in global manner. And my standpoint of view is technology and engineering. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Koshizuka. And also we have our member who contribute to this document on the front row from Mr. Hiramoto. Would you please introduce yourself? Suddenly.
I'm surprised. My name is Kenji Hiramoto. I'm working at IPA, Information Technology Promoting Agency, and I'm also working with Digital Agency Japan. And I'm in charge of data strategy in Japan. And data strategy is very important. So I'm an observer of this round table, and I want to make a good mechanism and strong framework. We want to make strong framework with you and other countries members. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Lydia? You also?
Hello, everybody. My name is Didier Navez. I'm SVP Data Governance and Policy at Dawex, and I'm here with Fabrice. And I've been in the company for quite a number of years now, and I've been pretty much involved in the business development and activity with our customer and partners in Japan, and also focusing on the important subject of data governance and data policy.
Thank you, Didier. Please.
So hello everybody, my name is Maximilian Stabler. I'm also from the German Aerospace Center. In fact, so me and my colleagues Robin Taba and Steff Turnbull work in the institute from Professor Köster. We are mainly active in projects like Gaia-X and Catena-X, and also help to write a document.
How about you?
Yeah, hi, my name is Robin Daber. As announced, I'm also working at the Institute from Frank Köster at the German Aerospace Center, working there as research associate and also as project manager for the Catena-X project.
Thanks.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'll just keep it short. My name is Stefan Turnbull, same as my two colleagues before, and Professor Köster on the stage, and mainly researching on collaborative data ecosystems.
Thank you very much. And how about Mr. Asai and Mr. Yamada? So you were also the author of this document.
This is Isam Yamada, working at the Data Society Alliance. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kotaro Asai, working for Mitsubishi Electric Corporation, and an affiliated member of DSA who co-organizes this roundtable meeting. Thank you.
So thank you, guys. So this document was edited, and we discussed to create this document with all those people. And more people participated in our drafting meeting from India and also the other community of Europe, like BDVA and Gaia-X. So let's get started. The introduction is just overview, but important thing is that we pointed out about the multi-stakeholders, not for government only. Because of everybody generating the data, everybody may use the data. It's not only for government public sectors, maybe it is go through the government public sector to private sector and individual to entities. So therefore, we make sure it should be discussed by most stakeholders and across countries and region, and also the field. Field means business domain. So here are so many exhibits here. Someone focusing on the robotics, someone focus on the telecommunications, aerospace, even different field, they may use data, each other's, to improve their business, I think. So therefore, we put this kind of the overview in introduction section. So first someone to talk or point out about the introduction section or discuss about some topics for this. I think they're saying no. Okay, let's move on. So, こっちか。こっち。こっちですね。Okay. So finally, we pointed 11 topics. That is a proposal from private sector to government sectors. The first one is the develop a common framework for data protection and privacy. The second one is promote data literacy and foster international cooperation and enhance cyber security. And also they encourage data portability. This is very important things also. And promote the interoperability of data and data exchange mechanism and adopt transparent data handling practice and respect each country's sovereign and regulatory framework and data usage right and role of data intermediation services and discussion body for DFFT. All those topics we pointed out. And so this is a proposal from private sector to government sectors. So let's discuss one by one. The first one is, so develop a common framework to data protection and privacy. So each country should work toward developing a common framework that respects individual privacy and data protection. This framework should be based on international standard and best practice. You know, it should be more practical. So everyone, someone to talk about these topics. If you have any ideas, please raise your hand. You? Okay.
So yeah, as I said in my introduction, we want to promote international standards. And when it comes to international cooperation, we said that we want to respect each nation's sovereignty. But we need to also speak with one common language and one common understanding of what is possible. So that's why we really want to develop this kind of common framework which we can all accept really here. So we want to have data protection, so that means we want to have secure data, we want to have secure data sharing, but that also means that individual privacy should be covered in this. And our idea is here actually not to overstuff it, not to overcomplicate it, but still have it semantic-wise, but also technical-wise, that we are talking the same language. And this is also something that we want to have in this document for the G7. So if we can have a common understanding on international standards in this document, we can also kind of transfer this knowledge that we are promoting also to G20 then. So for example, first stop here is if we can get a global understanding G7-wise for international standards and then go on. So this is actually what this first point in our proposal really means.
Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, some used to say code is law, and now we start to say law is code. So when we say law is code, when you look at Europe, they have done GDPR, which is very, from a regulatory point of view, a very good framework for data privacy and data protection for people. And you have two new regulations that are coming in Europe. The first one will be implemented in September 2023. So very soon, it's the Data Governance Act and will cover one of the points for the data intermediaries. And the last one will be the Data Act, that will be a little bit later on, and it will be also a matter of data privacy coming from the IoT data.
Okay, thank you very much. So any opinion you want to describe? Okay, Mr. Koshizuka.
I also want to add one point, because I think it is important to work on protection and privacy regarding data, but what is the challenge? I think the challenge here is we want to have access to the data to come up with some value-added services, and on the other hand, we want to bring it together with a data protection topic, and this is really an important challenge when we want to discuss a framework that provides these things. On one hand, protecting data, on one hand, presenting openness so that we can really work with the data sets. And this is, from our perspective, important to implement in the core of a new digital infrastructure we want to provide, which may be distributed and not just a centric solution. And this is what we are striving for, to bring these both things together, that we can analyze the data, but that we can also protect the data. So these things are essential for us.
Yes, I think this topic is very important and the most important topic of the data governance in the world. And very important point of view is the global or the common framework, not the country to country, not one by one, but internationally or global or multi-country framework. This is very important because in case of GDPR and personal data protection, the EU and Japan have the country region agreement, but one-to-one agreement is very difficult for we have the United States, China, India, not only G7 country or G20 or many countries. So the common framework, the internationally and the multi-country framework is very important, I think.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to speak about one thing. So the common is the terminology of the common sometimes make a misreading. You know, every country, each country or each region may have their own policy. So we have to respect each other's. But we need some common standard, but it is not some kind of request to another country to use the same thing, not the same. It's a common. Common is not single specification, I think. So we have to respect each other. In the world, for example, some countries, the government is very strong and gathering all of the data from field, from individuals, controlled under government. That is one of the style. The other one is every entity, every individual maintain their control right of the data by themselves. And otherwise, so these two policies is so different. So I think their free flow means we want to data flow, control the data by ourselves and do not want control under some big powers like legacy incumbent operation carrier or some strong regulatories. So everybody wants to have their own control right about the data. So that is a common sense for G7 countries, I think.
As Manu-san mentioned, so to protect human rights is very important for G7 countries. To make a good governance framework is very important to implement such a protection of human rights. So we need to strengthen the importance of the privacy framework. However, the policy and regulation is different from country to country. So we need to also emphasize the importance of the difference of the regulations. However, in order to use data, we need to develop the international framework, such as adequacy decision in relation to GDPR and also standard clause, or APEC CBPR program. So we need to make international framework, and also each country can protect human rights based on each country's policy and regulations.
Okay, thank you very much. So any more topics for this? So may I move on? Okay, the next topics. The next topic is promote data literacy. This is very a little bit. This is different from different to other topics, I think. So we say the promoting data literacy and education students and organization is essential to help them understanding the value of data. This is very important things, and this will help to build trust between multi-stakeholders, I think. So this is the topic. Someone to point at and describe more?
I want to add, because this fits perfectly to your last comment on the first point, because you were pointing out to the topic of data sovereignty. So, and if you really want to be responsible and take care of your data, you need to have a basic understanding what is the power of data. So what are some drawbacks if you spread out your data to all the different places and you don't take care what happens to your data sets and how they are analyzed, integrated with other data sets and that stuff. And I think we need to have a basic understanding that data are really an essential good, and we have to protect it. And I think on the technology level, we have a bunch of possibilities currently to always to protect data by privacy enhancing technologies, for instance, which you can integrate in our data ecosystems so that you really can take care who has access to your data, to what extent, and that stuff. So therefore, they are really valuable.
Okay.
Yeah, I fully agree on this point. And I was in a conference last week, and it was also the question of education of decision makers. Because sometimes even the decision makers that don't know about what is the data really, where does it flow, where did it come from, how it is stored, how it is managed, exchanged. So it's of course a matter of education of citizens to understand what can they do with their own data and all the regulation that they can address and they can follow, and also for the question of the people that make decision on that.
Okay. Any more? So I think go ahead. Oh, you should address to these topics because
I am a professor
university have to.
So I think this topic, the university is very important. And also the data literacy means not only the technology, but only the law or economy or regulation or governance. So multidisciplinary education or multidisciplinary study is very important. So in this case, the university must provide the learning course or education course for this kind of data literacy, I think, yeah. I will do.
So do you have any special class for this kind of data literacy?
For example, our department is the inter-faculty initiative, interdisciplinary studies of information studies. So I think our department is the best for this kind of literacy study.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, see next. So this is just for the international cooperation. Of course, I think so this is the international cooperation is essential for achieving the DFFT. So we ask to G7 countries should cooperate to promote international data flow rules and standard and establish a common understanding of data protection. These are almost same as the first topics, I think. Any add or any request to change this sentence? It is enough, I think. Yeah.
Yes, I think so this article is enough. However, I would like to add one point. So G7 countries start initiative of data free flow with trust. However, we need to seek inclusiveness. So we need to step up this framework into G20
Yes.
or so Global South. So this is very important to confirm the concept is including such inclusiveness.
Yeah, it is true. So therefore, we invited people from India. So that is a G20 chair next year. And also the global standards discussed in the Standard Development Organization. That is global, not only the G7, but also the all other countries. And it should be escalated to ISO, and ISO that is adopted by many countries by WTO. Yeah, I agree. So maybe next time we escalate this context to G20 peoples. Yeah. Any more? Okay. This is another topic, a little bit technically. It's G7 countries should prioritize enhancing cybersecurity measures to prevent cybersecurity attacks and data breaches. So this will help to build trust and ensure, even we trust each other, unfortunately, sometimes it's make an incident. So we need enhanced security mechanism, I think. So ensure the security and of cross-border data flows. Yeah, this is very important, I think. Any topics you want to add or change for this sentence, or do you have any comment? Yes, go.
Yeah, I also think that cyber security is very important. And how about the data trust, reliability of data is very important. So if we need, we should add this kind of things. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, this is a key question. That's why we have a few weeks ago launched in Europe a standard work on trusted data transaction to define what is the trust between a data provider and a data acquirer, and what is the trust in terms of the data that goes from one point to another point. And it's linked to the cybersecurity, of course.
Maybe I also can add, because this is of high importance, because more and more processes in the data processing are automated, fully automated. So it's not just cybersecurity is important that there is a leakage of data, but that data are changed in a certain way, so to reach other goals. So and this is something what we really have to take care of. Currently, we spend a lot of energy in IT security, but we have also to protect the data in cloud ecosystems. So also focusing on the content. Also with the technologies already mentioned, privacy enhancing, privacy preserving technology are then key, I think.
Yeah. Julian?
I think what's also very important here is that we enhance cybersecurity measures. That actually means continuous enhancement. So when we are talking about quantum computing, so the advent of quantum computing is upon us with post-quantum cryptography, which can breach data and can also somehow create new cybersecurity threats. Then we really need to have a common understanding what we want to achieve, what kind of cybersecurity measures can be brought upon, and that we kind of also counteract breaks in the future. That also means with new technology on the horizon.
Thank you very much. I think one of the Japanese colleagues, maybe some exhibit booths, they are showing trust service platform. So in case of the trust service, we do not expect to trust by ourselves. We may use trust service by trusted third party, because if the Ochiai-san says, hey, my name is Ochiai, I'm Ochiai, but how I can trust you? So we need some third parties validation mechanism. So, and in case of the Europe, you already have the EIDAS and also the some mechanisms. But in Japan, we have long history about seal. So every submission paper needs seal, and in even the same company, we have the relay of the seal. In Japanese, hanko relay. So, but we need some mechanism. It's validated by electrical validation and authenticate each other, I think. For the next step, we have to precise more about how we can use such kind of mechanism to what? So validate each other by stakeholders or validate trust to data set itself. We need the two things, make a trust work mechanism for stakeholder and data set. So it should be precise more, I think.
Yeah, so what you're talking about is really high important, because we really have to take care. We need to have more than one trust anchor.
Yes.
One is the digital identity, I
Yes.
think. So you mentioned that, but on the other hand, we have to talk about the data set itself.
Yes.
Maybe you are distributing data, you don't know how they are processed in detail. Who takes care on data quality? What are the quality measures? What are the service quality measures? We want to put on top of that, and we need to have some measures which we can integrate also into the area of trust and use them as a trust anchor.
Yes. I think we have another topics about intermediation services. Intermediator should be trust anchor between the data provider and the data user. That is a very important function of intermediators. The last year, the European Data Governance Act add new article about intermediation service. That is very important, I think. So let's move on to the next one. This is, go ahead.
Yeah, so in Japan, there is similar activities relating to Data Governance Act. We promoted information bank system. This is very related to Data Governance Act, data intermediary service. So we can understand each framework and may find the interoperability of such intermediary service, I think.
Yeah. The information bank is especially focused on individual information, not industry data. So the information bank service means, the handling the individual personal data on behalf of individuals. That is the Japanese style, the business model that we discussed a long time ago, and the Japanese MIC creating the guideline, but no regulation. Only we have the personal data protection law, only one. So we do not have some regulation about that. That is only guideline. So Japan, unfortunately, we do not have the regulation. Most of the case, only we have the white paper or guideline. It depends on the people's understanding. It's not, they never guarantee or they never commit some protection. That's a problem.
But in Germany, we also in Europe, we have a discussion on trust center, for instance. But what we have to take care of is what is really the value added or an added value by these institutions or whatever we want to come up with. Yeah. Because it is essential to put as much things regarding security, privacy in the technologies so that they are available within the technology and provide the biggest amount of protection, not to come up with a bunch of new institutions focusing on protecting data for others. I think we can do a lot of things with technology already.
Thank you very much. So let's move on. Next one, sorry about that. This is the another things. It's a data portability issues. So the encouraging the data portability will give individual more control over their data. This is a address to the same as information bank issues, and so promote business competition. This will also facilitate cross-border data flow and foster, they foster innovation each other's innovation in every country, I think. So portability is very, the important and the essential things, I think, especially for personal data, like medical data, and also so everybody everybody have the right to control their data. However, sometimes cannot understand who controlling your data. It's binding to some another services. Yep.
These points particularly will be covered by the Data Act.
Yeah.
Data Act,
yes.
As an individual, at any moment you will be able to ask for your data.
Yeah.
But Data Act is a hard job for companies, because companies usually they want to keep the data for them. So it's currently discussed with the European countries and Europe. So Data Act will tackle the topic of data portability.
So in Japan, so there is no discussion about new regulations similar to Data Act. However, there are some examples in individual sectors, such as, for example, in banking sector. So Japanese Banking Act was revised. It is very similar to Payment Service Directive revised. And so more than 100 banks are providing its customer data to fintech companies. So this is a very most important, biggest data portability example in Japan, and also in healthcare sector. So minor portal service is providing healthcare information from inspection institutions. So these are the example in individual sector, and we need to consider concrete conflict of interest. So to solve conflict of interest is to proceed to data portability mechanism.
So I know that last year European Committee changed make an amendment about, for example, healthcare data. So company who provide healthcare device like an Apple Watch or wearables, the device vendor have to commit to provide the data to customer. And if customer want to provide their own data to other one, the device vendor have to commit to provide same quality of data set to someone controlled by device owner. That is very important. But in Japan, we do not have such kind of regulation. So if you buy some heartbeat monitor, like an Apple Watch, all the data may stored and gathered in the device vendor or cloud services. And if you want to use the data by yourself, but some data is not given, only stored in the vendor side, that's a problem.
Yeah. In Japan also, there is a guideline, only guideline for personal health record. This is not regulations.
Yeah. Okay. For the next, it's your part. So promote the interoperability of the data and the data exchange mechanism. That's your business, Dawex.
Yeah, it's part of our business, yes. So like IDSA, we work a lot on the interoperability mechanism. We work together on Gaia-X reference architecture. In our technology data exchange platform, we implement the reference Gaia-X architecture to be sure that our technology will be interoperable with any kind of other technology that will implement the same reference architecture. So that's very important. Of course, there will be many technologies available, not only one. And what is important is this mechanism of exchange will be compatible. They will be able to exchange data each other. That's key. And it's in the process, it's in the way the exchange is done, the way the data is described, the way the licensing is done of the data, the way the trust is built inside the platform. So it's all of these things to have the maximum level of security for the participant of a data exchange, of course. And if they want to change operator, if they want to go to another data exchange, they will find the same level. And the interoperability is key. That's why we are working hard on this topic, and especially with IDSA here in Europe.
Okay, Julian?
Yeah, thanks a lot. I really just want to make an additional point here that we are on a mission actually to make it all harmonized. So we want to harmonize the reference architecture so that, for example, points like the usage policy, that you as a data owner can set a specific terms to your data, that you say, okay, I give you my consent that you can use my data, but only for a specific amount of time. This is something that we really need to have to make it interoperable, to really exchange data, but always with the vision in mind that we don't want to have different standards in the end, but that we want to have it really harmonized, that we want to have a coherent architecture, and this is the basis then for example, for data spaces to design them in the future. So I can only congratulate Dawex here that we are really working together, our CTOs, our technical departments, that everything should be aligned in the future, and that's I think we are on a very good way on this regard.
And I think it is important to emphasize that it has to work cross-sectoral. So because this really is a challenge, because we have different standards in different sectors. So I'm the ambassador in Germany in the German hub for the mobility domain, but it's obvious that mobility is connected to energy, to smart city, to some health topics. All of these different domains, we find different ontologies representing, for instance, the terminology spoken within this domain, and we have to represent them in a way that they can be integrated and used in an integrated manner. And I think this is one of the important challenges, not just on the technological level, but also on the level on semantic modeling, for instance, and data quality, which has also been sufficient for different applications in different domains.
Okay, for these topics, I would like to explain about IEEE P3L100. P3L100 working group is Data Trading System Working Group. This working group creating standard of data trading system. Data trading system means we expect a couple of the stakeholders. One is a data provider, and one is a data user. And intermediator, it's a data trading system operator code, and systems. And every stakeholder should trust each other by TTP, third trusted party. And between stakeholder to stakeholder, what kind of the object is handled? We specified 3 objects. One is data set itself. The second one is attribute information about the data set. Because of some case, metadata is not enough to describe of the data set. So we need some of the additional information. And another object is trading term. Trading term should be consent between the data provider and the data users. But data intermediator, data trading system operator have to provide some of a validation mechanism And also there are another external stakeholder, like a regulator or a clearing house or something like that. So P3-100 is global standard developed by IEEE. It's open because we are using the individual method. Individual means everybody can participate, discussion, and creating a draft. So it's not entity-based, individual-based. So now mainly we are creating a draft with Japan, India, and Germany. Germany is Mr. Stefano Pantel from FIWARE, and Indian people, and we, and someone from China. And every 2 weeks we have the meeting. And we are expecting to finish the drafting work at least this year, ask to the board of directors to approve the first draft. And afterwards, we expect to escalate to ISO IEC JTC1. That is fast track mechanism. So I think but we do not specify any we do not specify too much detailed things. Like only we are drafting about reference architectures and definition of terminology and fundamental things. For example, we do not specify any method of identifier. But if you are a data provider, you have to describe or provide who can validate your trustness. So if you have some ID in some trust service, you have to disclose that. That is a specification, very simple specification, not details. And for data catalog, we do not specify any particular methodology creating data catalog. But we request everyone have to have the catalog to advertise what kind of data you want to provide, and that help data user discover the data set. So then, catalog should be at least have to have this kind of topics, and we recommend to use existing standard to create catalog, like a W3C, DCAT method or something like that. So this is a very fundamental standard. Now I'm expecting enhance this standard to more details. 3800 is reference architecture. 3800.1 maybe about trustworthy. 3800.2 about data catalog or something like that. That is a series of data trading. So I'm expecting people to join more about this activity. Yes.
Yeah, I think this topic is also my job. And I think the interoperability is the most important one. Not integrating a system. System unification or single usage of the single protocol or single technology. But the interoperability is important. In case of interoperability, because in Japan or also in Europe, in the world, there are many existing data platform or data platform systems. So how to make interoperability is important. And interoperability, the abstract one and the very concrete one. And I think that we need a more loosely coupled federation mechanism for the interoperability. So I think the Melton P3800 is a little bit abstract one. Yeah. So such kind of the abstract loosely coupled interoperability is very important. And I think that a little bit abstract. So another topic is this kind of interoperability data exchange mechanism is a cooperative area or competitive area. So this basic agreement is very, I think, important. I think in case of Europe and Japan, it's a cooperative area, but some country, some companies think that this is a competitive area. But I believe that this is a cooperative area, and the loosely coupled federation is very important. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. And may I move on? Okay, the next is adopt transparent data handling practice. It is important for trustworthy, I think. So any topics for these topics? This is quite a general sentence, I think. No objection, I think. Okay. this is already we discussed. So respect each country's sovereign and regulatory framework. And the next one is the data usage rights. This is one idea that I created 2 years ago with a digital agency in Japan. So you know, today, what we are doing, so data set is non-fundable. Someone says ownership. We cannot own the data set, exclusivity, you know. I give my data to Ochiai-san. I cannot completely erase my the data from my side, you know. If I give this controller to you, afterwards, I cannot touch this one. But data is not easy to make a copy. So then, we make a consent with agreement between data provider and the data users. And some case, intermediator provide trust anchors. However, today, everyone exchange agreement. The number of agreement is infinite, I think. It's like an NDA. It's a huge number of NDA sign up every day, every time, everywhere, I think. But growth market, what is important? Simple standard. For example, wine market or some kind of in Japan, if you want to buy egg from market, the regular, some standard is there. The large means this size, the small means this size, blah, 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 blah. That is a standard. And the type of the standard trading term is enhanced data trading, I think. In Japan, I propose to make usage right voucher, like a securities. If you have the data set, you can make a usage right voucher and handling to data set. The number of usage right voucher is limited. That is demonstrate who is correct users, who is owner. This is a mechanism of to enhance data trading system. So last year, we have the trial test of data usage right market. And this year, Data Society Alliance enhance more this usage right market test. And in the future, we hope to establish data usage right market as like a security market, like a New York market or Tokyo exchange market, same as a New York or Tokyo exchange market. And every country may have the same things. In the future, we need cross-border exchange too. So this is one of the ideas. Go ahead.
Yeah. So usually the use rights are linked to the licensing of the data. And the licensing of the data is something that is already existing in any kind of country because it's linked to the business. So it's not a topic that is very well known today by all the stakeholders. So there is a first step to do is to increase the level of knowledge on the question of how can I license the data first. And then there is also a matter of implementation. So in our technology, for instance, we have implemented user rights, licensing rights that are used between data providers and data acquirers. That's key. Then to harmonize that internationally, still you have difference between laws globally between countries. So it's not that easy to have a common and interoperable user rights on the data. It will come, but at this stage it's not so easy.
So this is very simple idea. For example, the fundamental is everybody has the right to use data. So no one restricts your behavior. You know, this is base. Our usage right is make sure what kind of behavior is restricted, limited. So for example, my usage right here is you cannot make a copy, or you cannot copy the data to another one, or you cannot modify, or something like that. This is restriction is listed. And the data owners check out what kind of the restriction is at this data set. And the important thing is this light is registered to trusted party. And I publish 10 lights. That means only 10 people or entity is authorized data user. Other one, if someone using the same data, that is violate. So in case of the land, we have the similar mechanism. You know, we register the lights to registration office. This is the same. And the one unique thing is, one day if you write down the data usage right, so you are going to provide transportation data from next year. But you write down the usage right and public. You can get investors. So that is guarantee. You have to provide the data from next year. So the right is already published. And who buy this right? He has a right to buy from your data. This is one of the voucher. So this is the idea to enhance data trading.
Yeah, so we believe data ownership is very different and discouraging the usage of data. And also, so too broad protection by intellectual property. It's also the such a discouragement of usage of data. However, in contrast, so clarifying the right to use data will clarify the situation in which so data can be used, and will help some development of the social infrastructure. And so this should be include so standardization of the scope of usage. So in some aspects, so this discussion is very analogical to the idea of finance. This is this means so transaction market is created by making so package of its scope of usage.
Okay. Any discussions? Okay, so go next. So role of data intermediation service. This is maybe your topics, I think.
Yeah, it's our day-to-day business. We supply our technology to many customers for them to deploy a data exchange platform and data hub or data marketplace. We can call it as we want. And we are and they are data intermediaries. And these intermediaries, again in Europe, they're going to be regulated, heavily regulated, which is good for the trust with the Data Governance Act. These regulations mainly, just take one topic, will clearly identify the role of what is the intermediate of data exchange. So an intermediary data intermediation service will not able only to do the data exchange and not to process the data, for instance, or not to be the cloud, you know, the storage of the data. So it's key to cover the question of the traceability, trust, reliability, data governance exchange, this kind of things. And we are pretty happy that this regulation is coming in Europe everywhere to clarify the role of these data intermediaries, to put even more trust in the process and to enhance the data circulation. And with the combination of the job that is done on the reference architecture, this mix of regulation, technology, reference architecture and standards will make a global, let's say, data ecosystem one day very close to the financial market, very secure, and we go in this way, of course.
Okay.
And again here, I think as many tasks as possible we should implement by technology.
Yeah.
Because this should be a really lean structure. This is really, really important.
Yes. So neutrality, accountability, and fairness is very important for as a trust anchor, to be a trust anchor. Yes, go
I have one question. Because I think the data intermediate services, neutrality, transparency, I also think very important. So how about the business model? How about the business model? So the transparent and the neutral, it is very difficult to establish the business model. I think, how do you think about this?
For instance, if I look at my customer we have, is an access to use the infrastructure. So you pay to use infrastructure of a data exchange, like a stock exchange, basically, and then you can do your business, whatever is the data you want to do the exchange on. So of course there is a cost to get trust, to be involved in a global ecosystem, trustful ecosystem. There is a cost, but the cost then is linked to the features you want to use. And it's a business model we see today. It's not linked to the volume of data that has been transacted, basically.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. So the next one is most important things that today we want to say. The discussion body should include experts from technology, business, government, and law to establish an international policy to promote a practical DFFT framework, reflecting the ongoing international discussion on the policy and practice and technical standards by private organizations. This is incorporated by Mr. Ochiai.
Yes, so this article is related to Japanese proposals in this G7 agenda. So at this minister meeting, so Japan is proposing the agile governance framework, and the agile governance framework recommends the establishment of a joint framework, public and private sector, to build governance in response to the changing goals. So goal may be changing, based on the international affairs or change of technologies. And Japan has also proposed the establishment of institutional arrangement for partnership in relation to DFFT. So we suggest that it is important to organize IAP framework that reflect our industrial bodies discussions for appropriate public-private partnership. This is what I would like to say in this article.
Thank you. You have any comment, Hiramoto-san? Is that okay?
Yes, thank you, Ochiai-san. It's very important. IAP is now discussing in the G7 meetings, and we are, in addition, this recommendation number 11, it is discussion board is starting point, and we should make interoperable environment. For interoperable environment, we should make test bed or some technical and governance platform. So in future, this is start point, and in future we should think about this not only discussion. We need more practical bodies.
We need to prepare the implementation bodies.
Yeah. So we have to change, the no action talk only. That's NATO is not we need. Yeah. Okay. So all those proposals from private sector to government. The next couple of the topics, we have the 4 topics. That is what we have to do from private sectors. So we pointed out the 4 things: developing technology and infrastructures, and promote of international standards, and collaboration with government, of course, and education and awareness. All those 4 topics as we discussed, and we agree to put on. So this is our duty, I think. So starting from first one is private companies can invest in developing and to support the DFFT, infrastructure to support the DFFT. This can include secure and trusted data sharing technologies, identity verification, privacy protection, interoperability, and data portability. So those five topics is technology should be developed by private sector or R&D agency, I think. So this is we pointed out. Any add or any, you have any idea for change or add for this sentence? Is it enough? Okay, even so, the move on. The next one is private company can work with international standard development organization to develop, promote standard for DFFT. So this can help to ensure the different system and technologies are compatible and facilitate data exchange across borders. From my experience, important things is not only the standard. For example, everybody may have smartphone in their pocket, right? And it incorporates Wi-Fi system. But Wi-Fi is not global standard. IEEE 802.11 is global standard. That is a normative text, and that is adopted by ISO. The Wi-Fi is logo given by private companies alliance called Wi-Fi Alliance. What is the difference? IEEE standard is normative standard, but Wi-Fi Alliance makes conformance test program. They check your product, and if it's certified, they give you the Wi-Fi logo. It's commit to market. So this kind of two activity is required to enhance more. For example, even the Bluetooth, even the Ethernet, even the USB memories. So we have the global standard, we have the private sector's alliance conformance test program, and certification is required. So unfortunately, according to the data trading, not yet. We're only talking about standards. I hope we make such kind of conformance test program and provide certification. It is important, I think. Any questions? Okay. For the next. So I'm not sure it's the same in Europe and Japan. So collaborate to promote of the internet collaboration with government. How we can collaborate with government? That is sometimes too difficult. But data is common asset. Even the government sector, even private sector, we have to use the data. I think we can find a way to collaborate each other. So we have someone from government sector today, only Hiramoto-san. Okay. How we can collaborate each other? Drink beer with, that is the beginning? Okay. So how about in case of the European Committee? You have the collaborate discussion body?
I mean, at the French level, because we are based in France, we have a strong link with the French government that is in charge of digital and technology. We push some key information. We want to be sure that they are knowledgeable about our topic, to make sure that when they will discuss with foreign countries, they will know what they are talking about, and they will make the right decision. That's on the regulation side, and that's very important. And now what we can see, especially in France, we have some projects that are supported by the government on data sharing, on data exchange for specific some business sectors. So yes, there is a kind of a collaboration that is starting clearly, because it's a hot topic and it's a sovereign topic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Julian?
For Germany, it's like, okay, IDSA, for example, is a non-profit organization. So we are sometimes funded via research projects. And that's, for example, with the Federal Ministry of Economics and Economic Affairs and Climate Action, that's the name of it. And we are heavily aligned with them when it comes to data space projects and data sharing projects. For example, in the healthcare domain, but also education domain. And I know that there's also a Gaia-X project in France. It's called Prometheus X, where we also kind of share our knowledge, what's possible here. And these projects, they consist of sometimes really huge consortiums. And these consortiums exist of the private and the public sector. So this is also a way where we can also raise awareness, put the standard on the agenda, and try to promote these data sharing technologies that we want to have. So how in the healthcare section, for example, we are dealing with the health ministry, and we want to have a data space, in this case, to share healthcare data with the patient, to the doctor, but also with the hospitals. So this is a direct cooperation with the government in this case. The government, for example, here is the trust anchor, as we are dealing with the Federal Printing Service. They kind of issue the individual addresses, and they know what's at stake here. So this is, for example, a collaboration with the government directly in the research projects. But that's just an example that I wanted to give you. I think everything else is up to the specific domains, I would say.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to ask to Dr. Mano-san to complete the criteria of accreditation system of data trading in order to work with government, Japanese government.
Yeah. But unfortunately, the fundamental is everybody have the right to control the data by yourself. So we don't need to any change for regulation, I think. But I hope to have clear regulation or some kind of the adoption by government to our activity or something like that. So that is very important. The government have to push our activities, and also we ask them. I always talking to government sectors. Hey, you are one of the player, not regulator, because you own the data, you have the data. In some cases, you want to use another one's data. Government sector is one of the stakeholder about data trading or data exchange. So I always talking to them.
Yes, so Japanese government have not understood the such a position in the data market. So we need to promote education.
I think I have a couple of the staff from digital agency today, but I cannot find them here. So okay, and I think the last one is, so this is future action plans. To ensure the implementation of these proposals, the G7 chair countries should establish and operate a discussion body. Today, Japanese METI announced they have the program of initiative. It's I forget the name of the logo, and it's a Ukura or something like that. They already addressed to our proposal, I think. I expect they work for this action, I guess. Then, so I think, but this is not only Japan, so we have to continue this kind of discussion, exchange. So February roundtable meeting, we agree each other, having the roundtable at least 6 months, every 6 months. So we finished the roundtable in February. next, I expecting at least one before summer or after summer vacation, I think somewhere. So, and we promote more about our collaboration. And you know the Horizon project, and in EU and Japan, we have the Horizon project, but they do not cover about this kind of topics, I think. So we need such kind of a similar joint research project, I think. So that is the work of the Koshizuka-san.
I think that this is the final topic, so I like to say that generally saying that I think that in these years we have COVID-19, so the international collaboration have been stopped in this year. So this is a very good chance for the international collaboration, and we must start and continue international collaboration for this kind of data exchange collaboration. So the meeting in every half year, it's a very good idea. So we would like to continue this kind of meeting for every time. And also we should extend this framework to not only European country and the Japanese, but also the other country is very important.
I think first step is, you know, that this document write down by member of roundtable meeting for data society. This is not a name of this discussion bodies. First step is we need name of the discussion bodies. Otherwise, people cannot recognize our activity. I think that we have to make some name. That is the next step, I guess. And governance, organization chart or something is required for the future work. So now almost done, and I hope to open the forum like crossover all of the topics. If you want to speak about, please on the queue, and you can make a over this side also. Oh, Japanese is so shy. I recognize one officer of digital agency, but he already left, right? Okay. So if no one have the no one want to speak, I'd like the point someone to speak. Or no any topics? I guess everybody is so hungry, I guess. Because I skipped the lunch today, right? Oh, okay, please. And first, please announce your name and affiliation.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Sakaino Akira from NTT Communication, telecom carrier in Japan. And my question is about the next action for DFFT. I think we need to make kind of common rules, or architecture and standards. And so what kind of activity should we start in order to achieve DFFT this year? How about, for example, do you think we need to establish a kind of new international global community for DFFT under the United Nations? Does someone have any idea for the next step for DFFT this year?
Okay.
Thank you.
So first one is standard should be created by Standard Development Organization. We already work with IEEE, and also the French people work with SEN and SENLEC already. So we can improve activity in global standard development body that is already existing. And today we agree, and last February also we agree, continue this discussion at least every half year. So we make sure name and this discussion bodies and promote more, and make some operation rule of these discussion bodies is the next step. And I think it should be you know, the validated or adopted of government sector is very important. I recognize one officer from a digital agency over there. You have to speak, Yoshida-san. Please address to my question. No? Okay, I think almost done. Yeah, you can speak. Everyone can speak.
Thank you very much for the work. Thank you very much to put all together today to just to review the proposals and for the job we have done together. It was a pleasure, and it will be a pleasure to continue to work together.
I think the last things you pointed out, so that it is not a fixed set of ideas we want to propose. It's a iterated process currently, because we have to learn how to get the best out of distributed data and service ecosystems we will have in the future, for sure. And we have to accept that there will be a learning curve on at least both sides. For instance, on the side of companies investing in it, how can we really get some business models out of it so that we really can earn money with it? And on the other hand, how can we protect the data owners so that they are not just, not just providing their data, so that they also can see there's a direct benefit for them. And these are some things we have to have in mind. And maybe to reach this, we have to ensure that we also improve our regulation and the standards regarding.
Thank you. Julian?
First of all, thank you, Manu-san, for the invitation today. I think it was really interesting to see all the different viewpoints again and what was agreed upon right now. And I can only say that I totally agree. This is an iterative process, and these are now the guiding principles on which we agreed upon. And then we'll go on and further clarify and further detail this plan that we right now have for the DFFT. And I think we are on a good start, on a good way to promote these standards and to have data sharing as a knowledgeable, as a vital point that needs more clarification in the future, needs to raise more awareness, of course. But I think we set the impetus for it, and we are going to promote it even more so in the upcoming months and years.
Yeah, so thank you for all participants and Mano-san. So this is very important step to make so this proposal from private sector to public sector. And I have noticed today's discussion that institutions for implementation is very important. And we need to discuss further to add the discussion about such implementation body in next meeting. It may be important to create a roadmap or process chart to provide clear vision of DFFT to so many people. Today's question from NTT communication is very important. I understand.
So in this meeting, thank you very much, Manu-san, and all the participants. And I think that this document becomes a very good one. And this is a very good point, as a good start point. So we would like to continue with this kind of international collaboration from now. And also, we must step into more detailed and more concrete collaboration from now. Thank you very much.
Okay. So it's a good time to thank you very much all participants and also audience. So this is a very good timing to start just initiative. That we start from now and for the future works. And I think the next year we may have more practical things, more practical ideas, I think. So I would like to adjourn this meeting. Thank you very much.
Can I take a picture with you and your president?
Yeah.
And in the background we have G7, you know this one? Can we do that?
Okay. Okay, take a photo. It's a photo session.